Hello, it's Film Frenzy, and I just came back from seeing the latest Jurassic Park film, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, which came out June 22nd, 2018. So it's time for my full review right here on Film Frenzy. So let's get started with my first category, direction and visuals. I want to start off by saying this movie really defied my expectations. Please go out and see it. Don't let the critics' reviews just hinder your ability to go and enjoy this film, because it is not bad at all. It is actually very original for a Jurassic Park film, and I'm about to get into that very soon. So I want to start off by saying this isn't really in that direction and visuals category, but for the overall atmosphere, the score is spectacular, really adds to the dramatic moments and the horror. So direction and visuals is, I think, really spectacular, maybe even the high point of the film. It is just probably the scariest Jurassic Park film to date. I was really let down by Jurassic World, which really just felt like a stereotypical action movie with no real thrills. This brought it with the jump scares, the real just great suspense. The direction was clever with the shots and really just showing you like the scariest vantage point for each each suspense and like horror scene. And I also just love some of the action sequences, maybe the best action sequences of any Jurassic Park film. I mean, that whole just like sequence of them escaping the lava with the volcano erupting and the dinosaurs at the same time was just spectacular and just crazy. It really leaves you on the edge of your seat for most of the film. And I thought that was awesome, especially all the parts taking place in California in the mansion with like all like the crazy like combination of the Velociraptor and that other, like the one from the first film. It was just crazy how it was like going up the staircase and they'd have to escape. It felt like non-stop action, and the visuals were just spectacular. So I have to give it a perfect 5 out of 5 for direction and visuals. My second category is acting and character development. I feel acting and character development is kind of one of the weaker aspects of the two latest Jurassic World movies. I think Owen and Claire, played by Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard respectively, are very likable characters, but they're not like super just like complex and like multi-dimensional. Like, I think they're better established in this film than in the first one, and like they have very good chemistry, but they don't really like explore their relationship much in this because they're more just like put into situations. So if that makes sense, it's more like the characters in this film felt very reactive from the plot instead of proactive in like determining the plot. So I don't know if that's exactly a bad thing. I think it sure helps the plot category. I think it has a great plot, which I'll talk about soon. But for characters, these characters really don't do much in terms of advancing the story, but the story really just reflects the characters in a way. So I have to give it only like a 3 out of 5. I thought it was fun. I think the little girl, Macy, who's introduced in this film, was probably the best new character. She was great. And I thought her grandpa was a very complex character, which I liked a lot to see too. And and the villains were better than like some of the previous films. I love seeing B.D. Wong again as Henry Wu, who's like the person that like kind of designed it, the geneticist. And so the villains I thought were pretty solid in this film, better than some of the previous ones, but still, they're still just after money, which felt very repetitive. I don't love to see that. I wish there was a Jurassic Park film where the villains are not after money, but maybe after something else. That would be like different. But overall, some of the new characters weren't great. Like, I forget what her name was, but the veterinarian, she was kind of got annoying at some points. And the guy, like, who was kind of just, like, scared of everything, like, he was funny, he seemed like a nice guy, but he wasn't, like, he was very, like, one-dimensional and just kind of, like, the joke of the movie. And I don't love when they do that with characters. So overall, it wasn't the best for character development. The characters really developed throughout the movie, but, I mean, it could have been worse. They're likable characters that just aren't really fleshed out well enough. My final category before I reveal my overall score is plot, pacing, script, and theme, which are the story elements. This is the most important category in my reviews, and I think Fallen Kingdom does a pretty decent job at it. I'll start with the plot. So the plot does feel a little bit contrived in how there's like a volcano going on the island when there's all these dinosaurs. It was just like in the writer's room, let's think of an idea like to make it amp it up. Not just dinosaurs. Let's have a natural disaster. Say, let's have an active volcano. And yeah, it makes some awesome action sequences, but the actual story, it felt like just kind of very forced to get the characters to go there. And I felt like there wasn't really enough of like an argument at the beginning. Like I really wish they did more with Jeff Goldblum's character. Like maybe they meet him and they like have some arguments about like the ethics of like whether they should let the dinosaurs die or not. But they kind of just jumped into the action a little bit too much, I would have to say. But once it got going well. And I thought from then on it went very well. Like the pacing was just had a very clear like 3 act structure. And I thought it was fast paced throughout, which I loved. The pacing never like slowed down or like sped up abruptly, which was the problem with Jurassic World. So I thought that was awesome. And then again, the plot, I felt like it just had a couple problems here and there with like with how there's the common action movie tropes where a character is about to die and they're saved at the last second. That was like featured like a million times, it felt like, in this movie, which I think is a huge problem. I wish they didn't do that, but it still has enough originality with some of the twists. I love the twists. I'm not going to spoil it here. There's no spoilers in this review, but they're very clever, and it felt like it just kind of different itself from some of the other films and how like they go to like California. Most of it takes place in like the United States and stuff, and not just like on the island. And at the end of the film, I'm not going to say what happens, but there felt like some more stakes where either decision that's made leads like a big a big ending for like the third film. While it's not just like the Jurassic World where it felt like the third time in a row where it's like, oh, we're just leaving the island now. It's run by the dinosaurs until we go back to the island. And I love the start of the film, how it starts in this crazy like sequence that just really shows you how great the action is going to be and how intense the film is going to feel. And how it all wraps together, I thought was really good. The script was pretty solid. I think all the jokes pretty much clicked. It was a very funny film, but like it wasn't like overly funny. We're distracted from the drama. It was just funny in like the right places, and I felt like the dramatic, like the script, like it didn't hit you too much over the head with the themes, which were really solid, and they weren't just the same thing restating about people messing with dinosaurs and like nature. Like obviously that was some of the theme, because you know it's Jurassic Park, but it wasn't like that's it. And it kind of expanded with like talking about how like these genetic creations, they're still like beings and they still should be treated like beings. I thought that was very smart and just like a very meaningful theme. So overall, I thought it was relevant to like modern times and it was clever. So I'm giving it a solid 4 out of 5 for this category. And that turns out to be my same score for my overall rating, a solid 4 out of 5. This is a really good film that should not be missed in theaters. It is a great movie to see in theaters because of just the intensity of like the suspense. And I really think the critics were way too harsh on it. They're saying that it lacks the originality and really just like there's not many thrilling moments, but I tend to disagree completely. I think that's the case with Jurassic World, but not this movie. This is, in my opinion, the best Jurassic Park sequel since the original. So check out my ranking video, which I'll put the link in the description to see all 5 Jurassic Park films ranked. Thank you for watching. This is Film Frenzy. I'll catch you guys later. Bye.